omnichannel is important. Basically, because in retail, what I think is that the people don't know about channels or different teams working on it. They want to buy here and now without frictions and with an enriched shopping experience. So how do you enrich this shopping experience? Working together, centralizing all the information on that all the teams can achieve and the consumer can give us in all the point of contact with the brand. And yeah, to be short, that's it.
Yes, so my name is Arno Salvini. I work as a head of CRM for Star Stable, based in Stockholm, Sweden. Our product is a video game, which is a niche product, targeting a very niche target group also, which is young girls who like horses, and we try to introduce them to gaming. So this is a digital product, which means that for us, our products in itself can be a channel. And there is a key. It's very important for us to be able to use our product as a channel on top of the more traditional channels. And I think that's what we're going to discuss today, how we try to work with different departments and optimize and be, as you mentioned, Maaike, the consumer centricity, which at the end is, I think, something that is very important, whatever the industry you're working with.
Yeah, I agree. Therefore, to start off, I would like to ask you, can you share a little bit of your experiences in this shift, the move from the company-centric to consumer-centric?
To do that move, the first step is to centralize the information. So in Desigual, what they did is to launch a loyalty program, which was Magic, which takes into account the purchase behavior in online channel and in retail channels. So this way we can have the whole picture of the consumer behavior. And experience, then we will talk about the agile methodology. But I think that there is not a way. There is a way of thinking. So if you have to be very collaborated with, want to collaborate with all the mates and all the departments, and this way you can achieve that dream that is omnichannel teamwork. But what else? I don't know.
Yes. So if we look into the process of working omnichannel, I think one of the first steps, especially as I said, if you're a specialist in one specific channel, like many people here today are. I've heard a lot of great talks about email marketing. I think
we know it's the most important one, so obviously.
Yeah, exactly, obviously. But it is for us all here who are in the room, but it's not necessarily the case when you're in your company, and that's what I was going to say. The first step is probably to show the importance of your channel. And we all work here with CRM, and I think Frankie mentioned it before. I think for us, one of our key tools to convince people internally to work and prioritize our channel is basically data. And yeah, so in my opinion, that's the first step. Like justify and show that the role of data in deciding which channel are the one we should be using is essential.
When we were preparing this panel with Arno, we said CRM should rule all the companies. Why? Because we have all the information. We are very data-driven, the people from CRM. And in my case, I have seen that in other departments, they don't have this mindset. And to not having this mindset makes you move from intuition, which in fashion, in our case, sometimes is good. But at the end, consumer gives you information and you have to use it to make them happy, and if they are happy, they will buy you. So you have to use that information for sure.
Yeah, so I guess dealing with different specialisms, like you say, some already work data-driven, some don't. Each team or specialism has their own way of working. They have their own structures and processes. So how can you deal with that?
I'll give the example of so my current company, which is Star Stable. That so the different departments or teams that I have to work with, and which are also channels working in parallel to what we do in the CRM team, is One is a game studio, which is basically the product, and is the whole team who actually build the game, design the game, and create a great experience for players. Those people, by nature, by their education, by their background, they're artists. They, since their kids, they've been gamers. They want to play. They were playing video games. They know they want to build video games. So even though they have great insight and they know how a digital product such as a video game can be really good, they don't necessarily have this mindset of using data. But they have, of course, other strengths, such as knowing how to make the product very good. Another team that we have, which is a social media team, which is really close to our community, really close to our players, which, as I said, are very young and mainly female, are also quite, I would say, maybe junior, but so that means that they have the right tone of voice. They know how to talk with our community and have a very good relationship, and is very appreciated. But sometimes that's the same as a CRM team. We're here to come and explain how the importance of data and the importance of choosing the right message at the right time on the right channel.
On my daily routine, I always face with creative people, like the designers that make the game. For me, it's the designers that make the clothes. So these people is not very data friendly, to say in a polite way. But we are facing in a situation that we are, like I say always, like we are Mercedes. If we don't renew our customers, we don't know what will happen. But we have to do that. So, for example, an example is we have realized that young people is buying us accessories. So what is doing the brand is shifting their communication and their strategy to accessories. And this has been because our CRM team has studied the average age of the buyers of every category, and now we are in this path. So I think that yes, it's difficult, but with time and consistency and arguments like Frankie said, that an argument with data can be beaten, because if data says that this works, that works. And yeah, that's what we are doing. We are trying to change an emotional world to a data world. Nice challenge.
Yeah, no, I can totally agree with that. So in talking about what works and working cross-functional, how do you deal with that at your companies?
So Neil mentioned it before. I think the magic word, agile.
Wait, how many of you have worked agile or have heard about agile methodologies? Okay. Are they successful? Hands up if you think yes.
See them nods.
Okay.
A few hands.
Okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah, so we already had quite a few discussion around agile, and I think that a lot of people here may be working in more corporate companies, which are very big, and I think we discussed that agile is not necessarily one size fits all. There's different way of doing it. I'm lucky enough to work in so-called startups, because we are no more than 140 employees. But being a digital product and a 6-year-old company, we obviously have less history and legacy on how the company is structured, which allow us to actually work actively on working agile. So what we've done in the last few quarters is actually create, and this is a cross-wide company effort, and that's not something that was driven by CRM, that was driven more by some agile coach within the company. But that was to create company outcomes per quarter, which allow different departments to create projects around those outcomes and allow us to work cross-functionally. All of those outcomes, not all are necessarily relevant for CRM, but the one who are have tremendously helped us to have our voice heard and be able to participate in those projects. Yeah,
about the same agile that we wanted to to discuss that. Yeah, in a corporate world, is very difficult to success with agile methodology. Well, at least it's my point. Okay, because for example, what happened in Desigual is that there was like the tendency of we have to work agile in the world, no? And they say, oh, okay, let's try it. So what did they do? They took some responsible of different areas involved in the customer experience and said, okay, you are in this table, you have these post-its, and you have to work agile. So, at the same time, our bosses were sending us a lot of emails, wasting our time without non-agile method jobs and things to do. So we didn't success, but what I think is that it's not about agile or not. It's about mentality and the aim of working together, the teams. And yeah, agile didn't success in our company, but agile has transformed us, and we are collaborating a little bit more, well, or a lot more than before. So for me, agile is okay if you have been correctly briefed and they respect that there is at the beginning it won't be the best methodology and the most productive, but in 6 months you will see results, or 3 months. The problem is that companies sometimes don't have these 3 or 6 months.
Yeah, like Frankie was saying as well, just now in their presentation, sometimes you need to forget about the short term and look at the long term, but this is a bit of a difficult thing to convince your boss about most of the times. We've talked a little bit about bridging the gaps. What is your role and how do you contribute to bridging the gaps between the teams and working omnichannel?
As we mentioned before, when you work in a CRM, you could be tempted to have an opinion on many aspects of the company. It could go as far as the product in itself, because at the end, if we want to keep people purchasing or using the product you created, you want it to be as good as possible. And in this case, we would almost, like I would say, not be needed as a CRM person within the company. So of course we want to, and that's what I was mentioning about the agile the outcomes for the company, where CRM can be involved in project, because that allows us to be involved in projects such as user experience, also sales, and obviously more closely with the product in itself.
In my case, what I try is to involve CRM in all the projects that I can. This causes that my day ends at from 9 to 9, you know. But I think that is the way, and it's not only me; it's my team that we are involved in a lot of projects, because I think that data has to be the driver of the decisions. And when we are involved in these projects, what we do is like teaching, but don't understand that teaching is like, oh, you have to say that, no, and to do that. No, we are trying to listen. We are trying to centralize all the information, and then to guide people to do what you want to do, but with respect, with comprehension, and with leading, but not by imposition, but with convincement. Sorry for my English.
No, you're doing great. So there are several challenges we can see building these teams, and it's important to communicate and to make it really a team effort. Think about the data and share that with everybody. Can you share what do you think is the biggest pitfall in building omnichannel teams or working omnichannel team, and how do you deal with that?
Yes, so when we talk about building cross-functional teams working omnichannel, that means putting maybe quite a few specialists in a pod together. And I've seen quite a few presentations during the last few days where people are really experts in what they do, using very narrow KPIs and so on, which I think allow optimization and allow people to really do the best emails, the best click rates, the best conversion. And one possible pitfall would be to lose a bit of that, because having goals that are more generic won't allow every specialist to really keep on focusing on their craft. I mean, it's more of a thought, and I don't really, to be honest, have an idea on how to solve that, but that's a possible pitfall that I would see in getting more broader in the project and how you work cross-functionally.
Yeah, in a corporate world, what happened is that the organization is very big, and then every department has its own objectives, and they will, the boss of each department will have their bonus if they achieve that objective or not. So what we are going to global objectives, and that the digital objective depends on the retail results. So if we do common objectives, I think that we will be facing that problem, and we will be making it more easy to break these barriers between departments. And I think it's the only way.
Grab one more. Oh yeah, before we open up the questions from the audience, to sum up briefly, what does it mean to be omnichannel?
I think the word, to sum it up, is consumer centricity. I'll give a quick example. If in your company you work on communications, and you have a specific event during the year, say Valentine's Day or the consumer birthdays, and you don't work cross-functionally and omni-channel, which means align the communication between the different channels, you could end up with the social media team reaching out to a specific consumer and giving them a 10% discount. Have the product team within your product offering them maybe, I don't know, €5 discount, congratulating them on their birthday, and on top of that, the CRM team via email sending them another reduction. So here I don't think any consumer would complain about that. That's actually quite good, but obviously for return on investment. And when I say that, that's one example, but the example could always be turned around the tone of voice, where maybe each channel would talk to the consumer differently and show the brand in a different light, and that's something that no one wants, I guess.
In fashion, and sorry because I will read because I have I think that the correct words. We want the consumer to have the same highly satisfactory experience at all points of contact with the brand, in store, indirect channel, website, mobile, the app. And we want everything to flow between these channels. We want that the online interactions are taking into account when the consumer is in store, and vice versa. I think that the customer should be able to shop everywhere and wherever they want, and without frictions, and the two.
Thanks for that, guys.
Thank you, Maaike.
Okay, we're good.
Hi. Good morning, everybody.
What number is that, Mike? Sorry. What number?
Number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
DJ.
Go ahead. Yeah.
How's that? Ooh. Sorry. I'm always interested within the corporate environment, when you start getting omni-channel, as you just described, with brand compliance. How do your particular companies manage brand compliance in terms of design, in terms of messaging, in terms of language, and who owns that?
Wow. This is a very difficult question because it's not clear. And the fact is this is not clear. So at the end of the day, it's the CMO who decides. But now we are very empowered, and we are taking the decisions in a low level. We are the team leaders or the coordinators. We can decide more or less what to do, and with a margin, you know. But yes, it's a difficult question because it's not clear. In my organization, it's not clear, and I think that in any organization is very clear because it's between, not clear.